So electric bikes come in all different shapes and sizes, especially the e-moped style bikes like this, which a lot of people would deem not an electric bicycle just based on the overall look of this bike. Now the specs definitely do hold up to the standards of an electric bicycle, which we'll talk about momentarily, but I did want to talk about where this bike fits within the grand scheme of things with electric bikes. Now I have my e-moto style bike right here to give you guys a good representation of how this bike looks versus how that bike looks. They do definitely perform vastly different when it comes to the overall performance, top speed, and so on. But if you're looking for something more of the legal nature, the Himiway C5 Ultra might be the one for you. So without further ado, let's get into today's video and talk about what this thing has to offer. So at the time of this video, the Himiway C5 Ultra retails for $2,299 and comes with free shipping. Now before we go over the full specs list, I want to talk about my experience with the building of this bike and how well packaged it was. Now the C5 comes very well packaged, and the way that I unbox and set up a bike is just like what you see up here on the screen. I like to cut the front of the box out to be able to slide the bike out versus laying it on its side and pulling it out. Now when you see the bike at this angle, you see how well packaged it is with foam all around it. Now the first step would be to take out the accessories box to make sure that you have all the parts and accessories needed to build up this bike. Now let's talk specs. Starting with the frame. The frame is made out of 6061 aluminum alloy and comes in two different colors. Ink gray, which you see here today, which is a hydro dip, as well as white. The fork is a KKE coil spring compression fork with rebound that's adjustable that gives you 140 millimeters of travel, while the rear shock on this bike gives you 47 millimeters of travel. Now for added comfort on and off the trail, this bike comes with Kenda X Himiway 2.4-inch tires, which are a good balance between gravel and asphalt terrain tires. Now as we make our way up to the cockpit, you'll notice that these handlebars are a cross between moto and BMX style handlebars, which fit perfect with the ergonomics of this bike. The grips are a nice cross between a honeycomb and mushroom design, which give you a nice comfortable ride without necessarily sacrificing the moto feel. On the left hand side, you'll find your thumb throttle, your controls, and your front hydraulic disc brake. On the right hand side, you'll find Shimano Altus rapid fire shifters as well as your rear brake. In front and center, you have the Himiway C2 LCD display. Now let's talk about power. This bike comes with a 750 watt gear hub motor that has a max output of 1200 watts. The battery power in this bike is a Samsung 48 volt 20 amp hour battery pack that gives you a range upwards of 80 miles. Now you'll be able to achieve that 80 miles of range under pedal assist only and 60 miles under throttle only in real world conditions. Now Himiway is bringing to the table a torque sensor on this bike, which in my opinion is a lot better than a cadence sensor, because a cadence sensor you're more so ghost pedaling in order to kind of get the motor to engage. And with the torque sensor, every bit of energy you're putting into those cranks, you're getting rewarded for it, versus a cadence sensor, which I believe will be a thing of the past pretty soon. Now being seen on the road is absolutely necessary when cycling, and this bike does come with a headlight and a taillight, but a nice welcomed feature are these lights on the side of the battery, which have haptic feedback. So when you tap the button on the battery, you can change the sequence of lights and how they work on the battery, while also feeling the haptic feedback vibrate through the battery. Now with a total bike weight of 88 pounds and a potential top speed of 28 miles per hour, this bike has to have really good brakes, and it does. Tektro TR 180. These are 180 millimeter rotors front and rear, so let's put these things to the test during the speed test. All right, we're gonna do the same thing we normally do for all of our speed tests and brake tests. We're gonna do speed tests and pedal assist 1 through 5, and then throttle only. This bike is on lock, so definitely stay up to date with your state's regulations on what top speed you can ride in your area. Let's see what this thing is capable of. Start, and we're off. Pedal assist level 1. Nice smooth take up. Showing on about 12 miles per hour. Pedal assist level 2. Pretty smooth the pedaling for me, being 6 foot tall. Hitting about almost 18 miles per hour. Pedal assist level 3. Just about 20 almost. Pedal assist level 4. There we go, some kick. 21 miles an hour. Pedal assist level 5. I mean, I'm really pedaling hard right now. We're getting close to that 25 miles per hour. Nice. Let's go see what this throttle is capable of. All right, so we're back at the starting gate. Throttle only, 180 millimeter rotors. Let's see what these things are capable of. Let's see what our top speed is, and we're off. I weigh 184 pounds, so I'm curious if we'll be able to hit that 28 miles per hour. Showing over 28 on their display. Let me get low. Pretty windy out today too. A little bit of a crosswind. Looks like we're gonna be maxed out right there. We're gonna try our brakes out in 3, 2, 1. Woo! These are good, and these tires are really, really grippy on this surface. So you can see my black line that I have there. Rough estimate, about 35 to 36 feet. Really good and controlled stopping on this as well. This Kenda Himiway tire is really good and grippy. I do lock out the rear brake and feather the front as hard as I can to come to a controlled stop. And yeah, this bike is definitely capable of it. So with that being said, let's get back over to the bench and check out the stats on this, and we'll do the hill test. All right, so for the initial speed test and pedal assist 1 through 5, this bike was actually pretty comfortable pedaling given my height of 6 foot tall. With that being said, pedal assist 1 through 5, total distance was 1,703 feet with a max speed of 26.1 miles per hour, an average speed of 19.4 miles per hour in 1 minute and 2 seconds, which is pretty impressive. This motor is pretty torquey, and that torque sensor itself is actually really nice and smooth when it comes to the take up. Now let's talk about the throttle only. Now with throttle only, I traveled a total distance of 1,465 feet with a max speed of 25.5 miles per hour, an average speed of 22.1 miles per hour in 46 seconds, which is actually really impressive. Now I am kind of dealing with some elements here with the crosswind, so that might have been playing a factor with how fast I was able to get this thing up to, but that's actually pretty impressive given that I'm 184 pounds and 6 foot tall. I think we'd be able to hit that 28 miles per hour in other conditions. With that being said, let's get over to the hill test and we'll do some off-road testing as well. Oh boy, I feel like it got colder since we just did the speed test with brake test, but right now we're going to do the hill test on this 15-degree grade. It's a double switchback. We're going to do it in pedal assist level 5 and throttle only. This is a torque sensor, so the amount of power and effort I put in, I'm going to get rewarded for it. Let's go. And we're off. 20 miles an hour, 22. I love torque sensors. 22 miles an hour coming into the first turn. I'll let off here. Cut hard, these sticky tires gripping in. (21, 22 miles per hour. 23, coming in the second turn. It's a lot tighter. Final stretch, this is at 15-degree grade. Oh, we're still pulling. Oh, this has got a lot of torque. I love it. 20 mile an hour. Steady 20. No issues. Loving it. Let's go see what the throttle is capable of on this hill. All right, now with the throttle only, we're off. 14 miles an hour, 16 miles an hour. It's right there. I imagine we're going to get a lot more of a higher top speed with the pedaling because of the torque sensor. You're allowed to put that effort in. Right now we're sitting at 21 miles an hour. I'll have to feather the front brake around this turn. Maybe not. Sticky tires. Hitting that throttle again. 20 miles an hour. Woo, it is cold right now. 22 miles an hour. A lot tighter of a turn. It's that final straightaway. Put that 750 watt motor to the test. 16 miles an hour. 17 miles an hour. 17 miles an hour steady. 18 as we just hit the peak. This thing is pretty responsive. Can't complain. So in closing, is the Himiway C5 Ultra worth that $2,299 price point? That's always the big question. A lot of people want to know, is it going to be worth the money? Should I really buy it? Well, take it from me. I've ridden a lot of e-moped style bikes, and this is the best representation of an e-moto within an e-moped, if you know what I'm saying. If you've ridden enough e-moped style bikes, you know that they try to copycat and replicate what an e-moto would feel like. And this is a firmly planted, short wheelbase, plus suspension. This thing is very nimble on the trail. It's literally my favorite e-moped that I have to date. With that being said, the overall look of this, the carbon fiber, I love the hydro dipping that they did on the frame. It looks awesome. This is exactly how I would make my bike. And you already saw my e-moto. I have a digital camo wrap on that thing, and this has a good representation of what my bike would look like. With that being said, there's really nothing that I would change right out of the box, but there are little things that I would change over time. Maybe the color of the grips, maybe the pedals. I do like a grippier pedal, but that's my personal preference. With that being said, I do think that this bike is worth the $2,299 price point. If you guys are interested in the Himiway C5 Ultra, click the link in the description below to be able to check it out. If you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.